She survived a hate crime storyline that shocked the nation. She lifted a national television award. She became one of the most talked about faces on Coronation Street in years. And then, just weeks ago, she walked out of the cobbles for good. But now, the actress behind Nina Lucas is speaking out, and what she's revealed about her exit might just change everything fans thought they knew about her departure. Is a comeback already brewing behind the scenes? Stick around, because this is one Corrie story you will not want to miss. If you've been keeping up with Coronation Street over the last few weeks, you'll know that Weatherfield said goodbye to one of its most beloved modern-era characters. Nina Lucas, the Gothic-styled cafe worker who won hearts with her resilience, has left the cobbles behind for a fresh start in Whitby. But it's what actress Mollie Gallagher has said since stepping away from the role that has fans buzzing today. In a new interview, Gallagher opened up about just how difficult the decision to leave really was, admitting it was, in her words, a genuinely emotional moment, and crucially, she's left the door wide open for a potential return. That's right, Corrie fans. This might not be the last we see of Nina Lucas after all. For those who haven't followed every twist and turn of Nina's journey, let's rewind a little. Mollie Gallagher joined Coronation Street back in 2019, arriving on our screens fresh out of drama school. She was introduced as the long-lost niece of one of the show's most enduring characters, Roy Cropper, quickly becoming a fixture in the cafe storylines around Roy's roles. From the very beginning, Nina was written as something a little different for Coronation Street, a character defined by her striking Gothic aesthetic, her sharp tongue, and an emotional guardedness that made her instantly compelling to watch. But it was one particular storyline that truly cemented Nina Lucas in the hearts of the British public. Gallagher's character was thrust into a devastating and deeply important plot when her boyfriend, Seb Franklin, was murdered in a hate crime, a storyline directly inspired by the real-life, tragic murder of Sophie Lancaster. It was heavy, difficult material, tackling issues of prejudice and violence against alternative subcultures, and Gallagher's performance throughout resonated so strongly with audiences and critics alike that she went on to win a national television award for her work on that storyline. That single arc transformed Nina from a supporting character into one of the emotional backbones of the show. Since then, Gallagher has continued to build her profile both on and off the cobbles. She's taken on numerous dramatic storylines for Nina, including a tense courtroom arc and a harrowing attack story, and she even branched out into other areas of entertainment, reaching the semi-final of Dancing on Ice in 2023. Off-screen, she's remained a hugely popular figure on social media, regularly sharing glimpses into her life and her evolving personal style, including a striking new hair transformation that had co-stars gushing online just recently. All of this is to say, when it was announced that Nina Lucas would be leaving Coronation Street, it wasn't just the exit of a minor character. This was the departure of someone who had, over 7 years, become genuinely central to the fabric of Weatherfield. So let's get into exactly what's happened and why fans are so invested in this story right now. In scenes airing recently, Nina made the decision to hang up her apron at Roy's roles for what appeared to be the last time, taking up a new job opportunity in the seaside town of Whitby. For longtime viewers, that exit felt significant. Not a dramatic death, not a scandal-driven runaway, but a character choosing to move forward with her life. It was written as a natural, if bittersweet, next chapter for someone who has been through so much heartbreak and trauma within the show. But here's where it gets really interesting for fans. Speaking after her exit, Mollie Gallagher has now opened up about exactly how she felt saying goodbye to a role that shaped 7 years of her career and, in many ways, her adult life. Gallagher admitted candidly that she didn't want to leave the show, revealing that the choice came down to balancing her future with Coronation Street against an exciting new role she'd been offered elsewhere. That's a huge admission. This wasn't an actress who was ready to move on and had simply run out of stories to tell. This was someone who loved playing Nina Lucas, but who was faced with a genuine crossroads in her career and had to make a tough call. Digging into her comments a little further, Gallagher described just how overwhelming the timing of it all became. She explained that everything happened so quickly around her final days on set that she found herself doing something completely out of character, compartmentalizing her emotions just to get through it, because if she hadn't, she would have been too overwhelmed to function. And the turnaround, by her own account, was staggeringly fast. Just 3 days after filming her final scenes at Coronation Street, Gallagher was already relocating to Leicester to begin her new project, saying she had to stay laser-focused so she wouldn't end up in tears during rehearsals for her new job. Now, here's the part that has really set the fan forums and comment sections alight. Despite admitting how sad and difficult the exit was, Gallagher didn't close the door on Weatherfield entirely. She's openly said she is hoping this isn't the end for Nina Lucas, teasing the possibility of a future return to the cobbles. For a show that has built an entire tradition around beloved characters vanishing for years, sometimes decades, only to dramatically reappear, that kind of comment from an actress is basically rocket fuel for fan speculation. Unsurprisingly, this story has exploded across soap fan communities since Gallagher's comments went public. On social media, longtime viewers have been sharing their reactions, with many admitting they were genuinely gutted to see Nina leave in the first place, given how much she'd grown as a character since her introduction back in 2019. The hate crime storyline involving Seb in particular is frequently cited by fans as one of the most powerful and important arcs Coronation Street has ever tackled, and there's a strong sentiment among the fan base that a character with that kind of legacy and emotional weight simply cannot be gone for good. Entertainment outlets have also been quick to pick up on the story, framing it as yet another instance of a beloved Corrie cast member leaving not because their character had run its course, but because of external career opportunities pulling them away from Weatherfield. It's worth noting that Gallagher isn't the only recent Corrie exit to spark this kind of conversation. Other departing cast members in recent months have echoed similar sentiments about how emotionally difficult it was to leave roles they'd poured years into, even when the move made sense for their careers. What's particularly striking in the online discussion is how many fans are already trying to map out how a Nina return could realistically work. Some are speculating that her new life and job in Whitby could simply be a temporary chapter, giving the show an easy narrative route back to Weatherfield whenever the timing suits both Gallagher's schedule and the production team. Others are pointing to Coronation Street's own history of bringing characters back, sometimes years after fans had assumed a door was permanently closed, as proof that goodbye on this soap rarely means forever. There's also been plenty of chatter about what this means for Nina's key relationships left behind in Weatherfield, including her romantic history with Asha Allahan and her close family bond with Roy Cropper. Fans have long invested emotionally in these connections, and many are already imagining the kind of dramatic reunion storyline that could unfold if and when Nina eventually makes her way back to the cobbles. So, what does all of this actually mean going forward, both for the character of Nina Lucas and for Mollie Gallagher herself? On the acting side, it's clear that Gallagher is stepping into an exciting new chapter of her career, one significant enough that she felt compelled to leave a role she'd built over 7 years and had visibly grown attached to. That new project, along with her recent visibility through appearances like Dancing on Ice, suggests Gallagher is positioning herself for opportunities well beyond soap opera work, and there's every reason to believe this could be a real breakout moment for her professionally. But her comments about hoping for a return leave the Coronation Street door firmly ajar. In the world of British soaps, this kind of statement from a departing actress is often the first breadcrumb in what eventually becomes a full comeback storyline. Producers are well aware of how valuable a character like Nina is to the show's recent history, and given the emotional investment fans have in her journey, particularly tied to the hate crime storyline that earned Gallagher a national television award, there would likely be significant appetite from both the audience and the production team to bring her back at the right moment. For now, Nina's departure to Whitby leaves things open-ended rather than closed off completely. It avoids any storyline finality like a death or a dramatic falling out, which in soap terms is basically a flashing sign reading, "Return possible." Whether that comeback happens in 6 months, a year, or further down the line likely depends on Gallagher's other career commitments and how her new role develops. But the fact that both she and, by extension, the show have left this option on the table is exactly the kind of uncertainty that keeps loyal viewers checking in episode after episode, just in case Nina Lucas walks back through that cafe door. As with any major soap exit, fans are already speculating wildly about what a future return storyline could look like. Some are hoping for a low-key reappearance, with Nina simply popping back into Weatherfield for a visit that turns into something more permanent. Others are holding out for something bigger and more dramatic, perhaps a storyline that brings her back during a moment of crisis for the Cropper family, giving her reunion scenes with Roy extra emotional weight given their close bond throughout the years. There's also speculation about whether a return could reignite unfinished business in her personal relationships, particularly with Asha, whose own storyline has continued to develop on the show since Nina's exit. A reunion storyline there could offer the kind of emotional payoff that long-term viewers have been quietly hoping for. Of course, all of this remains speculation for now, since no official confirmation of a return has been made by ITV or the production team. But given how directly Gallagher addressed the possibility herself, it's fair to say this is a storyline thread that fans and outlets alike will be watching closely in the coming months. So, to bring it all together, Mollie Gallagher has confirmed that leaving Coronation Street after 7 years in the role of Nina Lucas was a genuinely emotional and difficult decision, one driven by a new career opportunity rather than any desire to walk away from the show. Despite the sadness of her exit, she's made it clear she's hoping this isn't the end of her time on the cobbles, leaving fans hopeful for a future comeback. With Nina's story left open rather than closed, and with the character's legacy, including that unforgettable, award-winning storyline, still resonating deeply with viewers, all signs point to this potentially being a goodbye for now, rather than a permanent farewell. If you're hoping to see Nina Lucas back on Coronation Street, or if you've got theories about how a return could unfold, drop your thoughts down in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think should happen next. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Coronation Street update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.